creative enough to keep adults entertained. It was canceled after one season due to abysmal ratings, so he shifted his focus to creating a show around Amanda. The Amanda Show was a sketch comedy television program that had a very similar look, feel, and comedic style as All That and Kenan and Kel. Schneider struck gold again. The Amanda Show became the highest rated live-action television program on Nickelodeon during its run. Amanda portrayed various characters that would become iconic, such as Judge Trudy, Crazy Courtney, and Amanda's obsessive fan, Penelope Taint.
My name is Penelope Taint. I'm Amanda's #1 fan, please.
And it took us 20 years to realize that her last name was a sexual innuendo. People also think that her cat Taint.
My name is Penelope.
I just realized her name was Penelope Taint, brother. This show was tainted, brother.
Taint. I'm Amanda's #1 fan, please.
And it took us 20 years to realize that her last name was a sexual innuendo. People also think that her catchphrase, Amanda Please, was built off the phrase, a man to please.
Sit down, right there, don't go nowhere, little baby gon' shake that, 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 yeah, I like that, bring that, right here, sit that, right there, don't go nowhere, say yeah, I like that, bring that, right here, sit that, right there, don't go nowhere. Welcome back, we back with another reaction video. This is part 2 of Dirty Dan Schneider, a Patrick CC video. Let's just get right back into it, man.
The basic premise of iCarly was that Carly Shay, played by previous Drake and Josh co-star Miranda Cosgrove, and her friends Sam and Freddie, played by Jeanette McCurdy and Nathan Kress, produce a web show from Carly's older brother's apartment. The show resonated with the real-world rise of online content creation and the growing influence of social media platforms like YouTube during the 2000s. The show within a show encouraged fan interaction by incorporating segments that invited viewers to participate in the show's interactive elements. Additionally, the characters often responded to fan mail and viewer submissions on their web show, further blurring the lines between fiction and reality. Like, take a look at this time they called a 12-year-old fan.
Do you have any questions for Sydney?
I follow your Twitters!
How old are you?
I'm 12.
No way, I just turned 16.
You're 12?
Yes.
I'm like a little over double that.
Yeah, Jerry's all old. So what do you like about iCarly?
I love it. It's really funny.
Anything else you want to know about iCarly, or any questions or anything?
No.
No, you're all set?
Nope.
Thank you.
I know what I know.
Would you like us to get on a plane and come to your house?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's not going to happen.
Oh, okay.
Dan, why would you even say anything like that? That ain't even a joke. That's weird, bro.
Okay.
Dan himself often communicated directly with fans on his blog, danwarp.blogspot.com, where he gave behind-the-scenes information and did Q&As. He also started giving tons of behind-the-scenes clips to his Dan Warp YouTube channel, giving us insight on the cast's uncomfortability around him.
What? It wouldn't be a video from iCarly if I didn't do this to you.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah! What are you doing?
I don't know.
What's going on? What are you wearing today? Who did your outfit?
I did
I've had too much caffeine.
Don't do anything with this footage. Please, it's so lame.
Did you know that the average adult American male has 18 hairs on each of his toes?
This is what happens when it gets.
He's weird. 18 hairs on each of his toes. Why do you know that? Respectfully.
Late.
Yeah, seriously. Let us go home, Dan.
We would be home if you had gotten some of your lines right earlier in the day, right? Am I right? Yeah!
Of course, the rest of the studio riding dick. Like, come on, bro.
Oh! Yeah, who's embarrassed now? Who's embarrassed? No! What are you doing?
I'm scared.
Jeanette. Hello. Susie May Page wants to know.
Susie May Page.
Yeah, if you could fill a pool with get out of here.
Sorry.
No. Stay in there. Jerry, like, bro. Jerry, stay where you at.
Wants to know if you could fill a pool with anything you like and swim in it, what would it be and why?
Confetti, because it's a celebration in the pool.
Okay, that makes no sense.
Okay.
Miranda.
Pineapple juice.
What? I didn't ask the question.
Oh, sorry. Well, I heard. I was thinking this whole time.
Okay, the question is, if you wanted me to hit you with a bottle of something, what would it be? Pineapple juice? Okay, here comes. This is why I'm in Hollywood.
Yeah, eat your cereal, kids.
Did she say nice things about me?
Because I will tase her if necessary.
Why is her hand on the back of her neck like that? Sure.
I have the taser. We haven't had to use it in a long time. But
I said lots of nice things.
No, I said nice things about you too.
That's gonna get on TV. That's gonna get on TV.
In these clips, you can get a glimpse of Dan's unpredictability. I mean, just look at how Miranda steps away from Dan as he proceeds to make his way around her back, and then hugs her from behind as she stands awkwardly still. As you can see, while Dan is shoving a camera in these actors' faces, they are often confused. Is he joking? Is he angry? Is he creepy? Is he going to touch them or grab them? They look extremely uncertain.
And then just the power dynamic alone, because you know, like, you could get fired at any moment because he runs the show
around him as he talks to them like a classic jester. But iCarly was a massive success for the network throughout its 6 seasons from 2007 to 2012. The pilot episode debuted on Nickelodeon to an audience of 4.1 million, followed by the second episode on the same day with 3.9 million viewers. The show was nominated for an Emmy Award for Outstanding Children's Program 5 times and averaged 4.6 million viewers throughout its time on Nickelodeon. Somehow Dan managed to outdo Drake and Josh. But looking back on the show, many of the jokes and innuendos were more blatant than we remember.
How long?
3.2 seconds.
Yeah! That's the longest it's ever taken you to beat me.
Or how about the sack, which was Dan making fun of the Snuggie.
You're just sitting on your couch, trying to polish your bowling ball, but your blanket keeps flying off your body.
Oh, my blanket keeps flying off my body.
Like, are we reading into it too much, or is polishing your ball while advertising the sack not strategic? They mentioned that the sack comes in.
Oh my god. It's like, bro, the dirty innuendo jokes are funny, but it's weird because they're kids performing jokes.
in 4 different colors.
The sack comes in rash red, mucus green,
Rash red is crazy.
pus yellow, or blue.
His shows are always displaying close-ups of feet and putting cast members in predicaments where they have to touch each other's feet. Nobody thinks feet are this funny, especially not for them to be such a recurring bit in a television show. Many have pointed out that the Nickelodeon logo at one point was a foot, suggesting that Dan's influence was so strong he got them to change their logo momentarily to his fetish. I even found something on his blog that was particularly interesting. He had a segment called Fun Facts on his blog where he would go through an iCarly script and talk about tiny little details and why they matter. Like this one where he refers to Sam's necklace and how it's made of the same plastic that the antique radios that he collects are made out of. I mention this because it proves that there are no coincidences with what you see on screen. No matter how small or insignificant it may seem, Dan put it there on purpose. In this same episode, which is called I Date a Bad Boy, Dan says, scenes begin with Carly and Sam cutting a boy's hair. We see the first of 2 penny teas in this 1-hour episode. This one on Sam says, noodle booty. What does noodle booty mean? Why did Dan specifically point out her shirt and want us to know what it says? In another blog post, he specifically points out one of his intentionally inappropriate jokes. One where he wrote a joke where an adult woman sexualizes 17-year-old Nathan Kress. Dan writes, on the first few takes when Jane said her line, hey, those pants fit you real good, she was looking at the front of his pants. I had the director step in quietly and tell her that, because this is for Nickelodeon, we'd prefer she look at the back of his pants on that line. Winky face. I guess Dan thinks that complimenting a young boy's butt is somehow more appropriate. Additionally, take a look at this 2010 blog post where he discusses adults who watch iCarly. He writes, there are around 150 people who work on iCarly, and none of us approach it like we're making a kids show. We make iCarly no differently than if we were writing and producing a primetime half-hour comedy for NBC, CBS, or any one of the major broadcast networks. This statement directly contradicts what he said while addressing the Quiet on Set documentary.
Some people think that some of those jokes are inappropriate for children. What do you think of that?
Every one of those jokes was written for a kid audience because kids thought they were funny and only funny.
So Dan, are the jokes for adults, like you said 10 years ago on your blog, or are they for kids, like you just said recently when the pressure is at an all-time high? It was also during iCarly when 47-year-old Martin Weiss, who managed dozens of child actors, was formally charged with sexually abusing a former client. The victim told police that he had sex with Weiss 30 to 40 times about 6 years ago, and the abuse ended when he turned 15 years old. But Weiss denied that.
What did he age out of the abuse? Like what? What?
It was grape because the 15-year-old boy showed interest, but the boy said that Martin convinced him that this was common in the industry and denying him would ruin his career. Yet again, a pedophile infiltrated Nickelodeon, and nothing changed. Still, Dan was absolutely dominating. He likely had unimaginable power at the network. Whatever he said goes, but he may have gotten a little too comfortable, maybe even cocky, because his next two shows, Victorious and Sam and Cat, would start to get him in a lot of trouble. Schneider was challenged with writing a competitor to Disney Channel's Hannah Montana. Zoe 101 had recently ended, and Dan knew that featured actress Victoria Justice had star power. If there is anything I've learned about kids today, and I'm not saying this is good or bad, it's that they all want to be stars. This direct quote from Dan potentially backs up accusations that he uses these teenagers' desires for stardom to manipulate them. Ironically, the plot of Victorious is about a girl who attends a performing arts school and aspires to be a famous singer. In 2010, iCarly and Victorious were the top 2 live-action shows on Nickelodeon, helping Nick maintain its 16-year status as the #1 network on all of cable. Victorious aired from 2010 to 2013, through 4 seasons, winning Favorite TV Show at the 2012 and 2013 Kids' Choice Awards, beating out iCarly, as well as receiving 4 Emmy nominations. To the surprise of no one, Dan created another iconic children's TV show, but at what cost? Before the show premiered, Nickelodeon Productions partnered with the Columbia Epic label group of Sony Music Entertainment to co-produce the series to develop talent and release their music. Ariana Grande famously got her big break on Victorious. She was the perfect addition to the show due to her amazing singing capabilities, but her role on the show was the airheaded girl who says literally anything that is on her mind, perfect for Dan to take advantage of and insert more innuendos.
Sometimes I wonder if you can get juice from a potato. Is it possible for a teenage girl to drink water upside down? I'm thirsty!
What the hell?
It's not possible!
This clip of Dan and the Victorious cast behind the scenes has been dissected many times over the years, where Ariana and Elizabeth Gillis seem visibly uncomfortable due to Dan's presence.
That was one of the better things I've ever heard.
Hey!
Hi, what's going on here?
Nothing. You didn't cut out that part.
Why are you sitting on the floor of the set?
Because we are.
Ariana is constantly looking around, covering up her body as Dan towered over her. Many in the comments speculate that Liz started causing distractions so that Dan wouldn't do whatever they seemed to be afraid of. However, Liz Gillis actually ended up marrying a Nickelodeon producer that she met on the set of Victorious. Michael Corcoran is a very close friend to Dan Schneider. He wrote the theme songs for iCarly and Victorious. Liz and Michael began dating in 2012 when she was 18 and he was 40. They did meet on set, but
Nah, nigga. Nah, nigga. Nah, nigga. Ain't no love is love, nigga. Nah, nigga. Nah, nigga. That's weird, bro. Like, Brody, that's weird, Brody. I'm sorry. Like, nigga, she wasn't born yet, and you was, what, 22? What the, what?
before she was 18, which leads many to believe that she was groomed, but they are still together to this day. According to Jeanette McCurdy, Schneider regularly compared the iCarly cast to that of Victorious. The Victorious kids get drunk together all the time. The iCarly kids are so wholesome. We need to give you guys a little edge, Schneider said, according to McCurdy. Now, supplying minors with alcohol is a major accusation. There is definitely a lot of online evidence showing that the Victorious cast were very close, often mingling and hanging out after hours. But whether or not they are drunk is impossible to determine. However, the actor who portrayed Beck on Victorious may have confirmed McCurdy's statements on a TikTok that read, "When you don't remember the plotline to a single Victorious episode, but you remember going out partying every night." Daniela Monet, who played the lead's older sister, Trina Vega, told Insider that some of the actors' outfits on the show were not age appropriate, and that she wouldn't even wear some of that today as an adult. Daniela also recalled a time when she contacted Nickelodeon about a Victorious scene where she ate a pickle while applying lip gloss. She expressed concern to the network that it was too sexual to air, but Nickelodeon aired it anyway. And in case you were wondering if Dan ever slowed down on his foot content, no. He actually ramped it up.
There we go. Spread your toes, girl.
Woo! I still say this is not performing!
How about two girls fighting over a guy's foot while he sings a song?
Wow, they're really soft. Nurses, feel these kids' feet.
But it was around 2012 and 2013 when people online finally started to question what was going on at Nickelodeon. I believe it was due to Amanda Bynes' very public downward spiral. It was around this time she made headlines for her first DUI, assaulting a member of the paparazzi, being seen in public looking disheveled and distraught. Then she was evicted from her New York City apartment, and she got some strange dimple piercings and even posted lewd photos that were not very flattering. In short, people were saying that she was going crazy, and naturally they started to question the children's television industry that she grew up in. An infamous blind item appeared on the Crazy Days and Nights blog of someone trying to warn the public about Dan. He's a monster, the worst predator alive, and if you wonder why nobody will confront or charge him, he's in charge of multiple hit shows for Nick, which rakes in oceans of money. What about the parents? No tweener parent who shoved their kid into the limelight from birth is going to cross him either and risk career suicide and loss of revenue, no matter how bad it F's up the kids. It was also around this time that a Redditor alleged that Dan offered them $100 to tickle their feet while on set of one of his shows. Now, none of these claims were backed by any real or substantial evidence, but it did get people talking. Media outlets finally began speaking out, questioning the intentions of children's TV, specifically pointing to the sexual nature of Victorious. Those designer threads often have an adult sexiness that unsuccessfully straddles the line between tasteful and trampy. While guys are allowed to be quirky and weird looking, girls are uniformly cast from the same Bratz doll mold. Meanwhile, you had Dan posting things on his blog like, "But what Kat does in this scene is a special variation of the spit take, where the liquid just falls out of her mouth. Yes, this is what I do for a living. I analyze the various kinds of spit takes. Not a bad job," smiley face. After this quote from Dan, we now know that this photo, which is on the official Zoe 101 IMD page, showing Victoria Justice with spit falling out of her mouth, is probably his creation. You also had people in the early 2010s analyzing his old tweets, ones where he was constantly talking about people's feet and toes. "This toe belongs to one of the stars on one of my shows. Whose toe is this?" To which he later tweeted, "The toe belongs to the sweet and hilariously talented Miss Jeanette McCurdy. Sam and Cat tomorrow. Right on the bottom of your foot, take a pic and use hashtag Sam and Cat Saturday. We will retweet and follow until our fingers get sore." I also found this extremely old Pepsi commercial Dan starred in the late 80s, which potentially features an innuendo with the lotion shot splattering on the guy's chest, then the focus of the entire commercial being on his feet not wanting to touch the sand because it's hot, and of course there's females in the background in their bikinis. Dan was unaware of the digital renaissance aiming to take him down, and he was as reckless as ever. iCarly was officially over, and Victorious was scheduled to end a few months later. Schneider decided to hit two birds with one stone and make a dual spin-off for both shows. He took a fan favorite from iCarly in Sam Puckett and a fan favorite from Victorious in Cat Valentine and created a teen sitcom titled Sam and Cat. The premise of the show revolved around the unlikely friendship of Sam and Cat, who meet and become roommates in Los Angeles while starting their own babysitting business to make ends meet, which is basically the same plot as his failed primetime sitcom from the 90s. The pilot debuted on Nickelodeon to 4.2 million viewers and was surprisingly popular despite being a spin-off that was clearly inferior to its original shows. However, Sam and Cat only lasted one season and was cancelled following controversy behind the scenes. Firstly, Jeanette McCurdy posted this strange Vine.
Hey Dan Schneider, I know you're watching my Vine. Do you like my Vine? Vine. Look what you've done to me.
Considering she would speak out against him 10 years later, we now know this was not our imagination. He was really making her crazy. In her 2022 memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, McCurdy detailed her childhood and how her mother, Deborah, forced her to become a child actor. Schneider was also mentioned in the memoir solely as the creator, who McCurdy claimed created an unsafe work environment, frequently subjecting the cast and crew to emotional abuse. When Jeanette turned 18 and iCarly was coming to an end, the creator allegedly dangled the opportunity for Jeanette to have her own spin-off. She wrote that the creator took her out to dinner, where he encouraged her to try alcohol for the first time and gave her a shoulder massage. The creator is doing that thing that I've heard from my co-stars he does with every new star of a show that he's making. He takes you under his wing. You're his favorite. Additionally, there was a feud between Ariana and Jeanette brewing behind the scenes. On Jeanette's podcast, she discussed her time on Sam and Cat, revealing that she was jealous of Ariana Grande because executives allowed her the opportunity to pursue other business ventures while restricting McCurdy's career advancement. Every time something exciting happens to her, I feel like she robbed me of having that experience myself. And every time someone calls me a good sport, all I feel is how much I don't want to be one. Ariana misses work in pursuit of her music career while I act with a box. I'm pissed about it, and I'm pissed at her, jealous of her. In case you're wondering, one episode of Sam and Cat was based around Cat getting trapped in a box, and Sam spent the whole episode trying to get her out. The writers had to come up with an episode without her because Ariana was busy with her music career and couldn't film. This show getting cancelled after one very successful season was likely due to this feud, but I'm sure Dan's behavior towards Jeanette and Ariana made it easy for them to sever ties with Nickelodeon. This basically marks the end of Dan's dominance at the network. He was recognized for his 20 years of work at Nickelodeon with their very first Lifetime Achievement Award in 2014. For the few online that were aware of the rumors surrounding Dan, this award rubbed them the wrong way. Slowly in 2014 and after, we saw more media coverage pointing out inappropriate moments in his shows. But again, the masses, the general public, had no idea what he was doing. And for a few years, people stopped talking about him online, until 2017, when the Harvey Weinstein Me Too movement shook industry predators to their core, and Dan tried to make it out unscathed. In October of 2017, investigative reports by The New York Times and The New Yorker exposed decades of sexual harassment, assault, and misconduct allegations against film producer Harvey Weinstein. This prompted bloggers who knew about Dan's history to discuss him once again. More blind items from the Crazy Days and Nights blog emerged, like this one that suggests Dan, the producer, was sleeping with cast members. A producer who has been featured on this site from almost the very beginning. When she landed the part, the producer never mentioned anything about sleeping with her. All but one of them were underage. She suspected that because she was legal for almost the entire run of the show, that he was just not that into her. At some point, he did try and sleep with her and she turned him down. That rejection cost her a bunch of scene reductions. Meanwhile, the producer found someone else to sleep with who was also legal but loved to roleplay super young. She was getting the good lines and scenes. She was being offered crossover opportunities and new shows were being developed for her. And again, this could just be people spreading lies, but now the pressure was on, and Nickelodeon, Dan Schneider, they could feel the heat. Websites like The Revenge of the Sis became fully dedicated to exposing the creepy nature of the Nickelodeon network. Coincidentally, as the pressure was at an all-time high, Nickelodeon cut ties with Dan Schneider in March of 2018 and paid him the $7 million still owed on his contract. They claim this separation was a natural next step and they are proud of the work he did for Nickelodeon. Deadline Hollywood reported that there had been complaints about Schneider's alleged behavior, including his well-documented temper issues for years. Following reports that Nickelodeon and Schneider parted ways, Dan's Twitter account went quiet. He only rarely made public appearances. He also tried to erase everything on his blog, but we still got that. Nickelodeon Studios even released its reboot of iCarly for the Paramount Plus streaming platform without Schneider. From Dan's exit in 2018 until today, YouTubers, bloggers, previous cast members, and media outlets greatly contributed to informing the public about Dan's ways. Perhaps the most detailed and detrimental article was the 2022 Business Insider Deep Dive, which interviewed 15 of Dan's former co-workers, some of which spoke horrible things and others defended his character. Dan cared about the kids on his shows even when sometimes their own families unfortunately did not. Russell Hicks, Nickelodeon's former president of content and production, wrote, "He was the shoulder they cried on when something happened to them. He understood what they were going through." Schneider drew hours away from writing scripts and instead spent time mingling with the stars on his shows, taking them out to dinner and inviting them to his house for holiday parties. It became so frequent that some of Schneider's colleagues questioned the amount of time he spent interacting with young actors. While Dan focused on being accepted by the children on his shows, several writers and crew members claimed Schneider created an uncomfortable, bizarre environment, regularly demanding 14-plus-hour days and expected writers and crew members to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. More disturbing was Schneider's behavior towards female crew members, reportedly hugging them for extended periods as a joke, making people uncomfortable. Schneider also requested massages from adult female colleagues during his tenure at the network, according to several Nickelodeon staffers. Kerry Mellon, who worked as a costumer on Schneider's shows for 14 years, said Schneider received weekly massages from a third member of the costume team. They also claimed that Schneider would ask the women to give him a massage by reaching under his shirt. Despite claims that he fostered a hostile work environment, Schneider's shows at Nickelodeon were greenlighted because of his influence within the company. On-set employees rarely pushed back against Schneider. Another writer said, dynamic because you just didn't cross Dan. He was a really scary presence. However, it took all the way until the Quiet on Set documentary before Dan ever responded to any of these allegations. But during this 20-minute interview, he basically only admits to being mean to his writers.
I would snap at people sometimes. I would be snarky when I could have given them a nicer answer. I would not give people the time that they needed. I would be in too big a hurry to get on to the next thing I had to do. And watching that show.
Why is he sitting down with bro? Like, nigga, this is somebody that you put money in his pocket. Like, you sitting down with this, it makes no sense to me, bro. Nigga, go sit down with Gayle King so she can cook. Like, what?
It made me, there were so many times I wanted to pick up a phone and call some of those people and say, I'm so sorry and let's talk about it. And I wish you'd had a better time and I wish I could have shown you a better experience.
The rest of this conversation was him deflecting blame. He said that his inappropriate jokes were approved by the executives at Nickelodeon that were above him, and they didn't think the jokes were inappropriate at the time. But he also said that since people are upset about those jokes, then he's okay with erasing them, which makes people wonder, are they inappropriate or not? He claims he had no knowledge of any sexual assault that any of his previous cast members experienced, but he did admit to demanding massages.
Let's talk about the massages.
Okay.
Watching the content yesterday, it was disturbing.
It was wrong. It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position. It was the wrong thing to do. I'd never do it today. I'm embarrassed that I did it then. I apologize to anybody that I ever put in that situation. And even additionally, I apologize to the people who were walking around Video Village or wherever they happened, because there were lots of people there who witnessed it who also may have felt uncomfortable. So I owe them an apology as well.
Yeah.
You said you owed them an apology. You did not apologize. What? Like, bro, niggas' critical thinking skills do not be working. Like, no. Cook him, T. What are you doing?
He 100% wholeheartedly admitted that he forced people to touch him, which is interesting because it becomes very difficult to believe that he would stop there. Perhaps the craziest part about this video is that there's still so much more that I could cover. Some people's entire YouTube channels are dedicated to bringing Dan's dark secrets to light. But I do want to leave off with this message. Just remember that it's easy to think that this is all just entertainment because, well, these allegations feature some of our favorite child stars. Remember that they were real victims that had to suffer. People have gotten so wrapped up and excited about this expose that they're now blaming innocent people for being complicit in these alleged crimes. For example, Zoe 101 star Matthew Underwood was getting death threats for not speaking out against Dan Schneider. So to prove to these people that he is innocent, he voiced 2 different times where he was sexually assaulted as a minor. So now after hearing...
Like, damn, bro, he had to expose his dark secrets. That ain't had nothing to do, man. Look, bro, but chill out on the child's. They were children. Even if they knew what was going on, bro. Do you not understand the power dynamic? Like, bro, you don't know what that nigga home situation was. If anything, I'm on the parents' heads more than anything. Cause now while you was trying to, provide for the families, your kid getting taken advantage of, bro. Like, at what point do you say, nah, I'm good on this Hollywood fame? Like, what?
Many of the allegations, the rumors, the testimonies, the convictions, the confessions surrounding Dan Schneider's time on Nickelodeon, is it all just a coincidence? A conspiracy?
I don't know what it is, but all I know is this just proves one point, bro. Drake's a dumbass. How does this tie into Drake? I promise I'm so famous. I'm too famous. If I would have did the child diddler allegations, I would be locked up. This nigga ain't seen prison, jail, a sentence, 12, nothing. What are we talking about? Drake! What are we talking about, Drake? like, let me know so I can let you know. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, yeah, bro, this is a story of Dirty Dan. He's Dirty Dan. I'm not Dirty Dan. And I ain't gonna lie, if that was subtext, is that what we gonna call that? If that was like a slick shot that's saying he's Dirty Dan, cause still Steven Hilberg knew what was going on, bro. What the fuck? like what? Like what? Anyway, man, that was my thoughts on the Patrick CVC video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how y'all feeling about this weird ass Nickelodeon thing, bro. I keep telling you, bro. Like I said in that other video, anime over Nickelodeon, anime over Disney. It's too bad I spent too much time watching Nickelodeon and Disney. I could have just been picking out better anime in life, bro, and it's been like boom, 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 and had like way better experiences, bro. Now you telling me that every time I see feet, Dan Schneider put it into my head that feet look good? No, they don't. I don't like feet, respectfully. Sorry. No. I'm not sucking no toes, none of that. It's over with. Cause now this associated with Dan Schneider for me. Like forever now. Like it's over with. Anyway. Stay safe, y'all, bro. This is some crazy shit. Like, bro, stay safe, y'all. For real. Oh man. I'll catch y'all in the next one, man.
I'm a cowboy, can't stop me, ain't to live is to come. All this pain got me feeling accomplished. See, this can't turn me into a monster. Hey, I'm a cowboy, can't stop me, to live is to come. All this pain got me feeling accomplished. See, this can't turn me into a monster. I'm a cowboy, can't stop. Hey, all that pain got me feeling jaded. Many with your rope in the making. Still plugged into the mix, but lagging out before the update. Drop back in, different time, same location.